good morning, good afternoon to some of you. And we had a couple minor tech issues at the start of this, but
Yeah,
we're
we
here.
did, didn't we?
Yes, we did. But you know what? We're here. We're here to serve you. I see people are joining. So do us a favor. Let us know if you're on live, where you're coming in from. We have people from all over the world joining this live, and we want to give you shout outs as we go live. And then also, if you're on Team Replay, let us know you're on Team Replay and where you came in from. But I'm excited for this conversation. Okay, here we are at the start of 2026. And money's been a big topic for people over the last year, right? And one of the things I really want to help people with, and I know Gary does, is how to break through some of these barriers that we all face. So we're going to spend about 30 minutes chatting today. Just so you know, if you're on live, like I said, I'm going to just say this one more time. Let us know where you're coming in from. If it's Team Replay, let us know where you're coming in from. And feel free to ask some questions. I have some questions I'm going to ask Gary, but also, if you have any questions, please let us know. And let's give some shout outs. I see Jeremy. Good morning, sir. Let's see who else we got here. We got, there's Susan Younger. Good morning, Susan. We have, man, these are all text. Oh, here's our first Jersey guy. Glenn, what's up, buddy? Long time no chat. Leslie, all right, good morning. So I know 3 people from here that are on from Texas. And then we got Chicago in the house. All right, let's get some shout outs. Samuel, great to see you. Guys, keep on dropping in. We apologize for being a little late here. We had some tech issues, but go figure. But we're here. We're here to serve you. So Gary, what I want to start this off with, and while you're talking, you might see me drop some names up because we have a good audience that's starting to come together. I believe each and every one of us has a mission that matters. It's something we've been through in life that impacts us dramatically, and we figure our way out of that thing, okay? And then we're called to go help other people. So what I'd love to know is, what is your mission that matters, and who are the people that you're fighting for, and why are you fighting for them? Then we'll get into some other questions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chris. When I think about what really motivated me and started me on this entire journey of thought leadership and personal development, it was during the AIDS crisis, and that was where I really looked at people and I thought, people are being diagnosed, and in 3 months they're a skeleton. And whatever kind of interventions were normally used to help people transition were not going to work. People needed immediate, accelerated techniques to be able to evolve them to resolution with their life. And so I began studying the subconscious mind. And in that study, it really inspired me as far as being able to look into my own life and see those type of blockages that were existing within me. When it comes to money and that whole aspect of money, we start to look at the mission that seems to be around a lot of people is that money begins to define worth. It doesn't, of course.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but it starts to define worth in our culture.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I'm very curious about where that aspect of those imprints actually originated from, and why so much of it is running at such a deep unconscious level that puts a lid and a cap on what we feel we're capable of achieving. So, because most of my coaching clients, most of them are highly successful. They're dealing with other things like their relationships or the structure of their business. But for the predominant amount of people that I've worked with over time, they have struggled so much with money. It's ruined relationships. It has ruined the parenting environment for their children. And they have been stuck for years and they cannot figure it out. What is the drag behind them as they move forward into the future? And I began working on that and realized it was really transgenerational traumas and the money imago that has been installed for generations before us that is within us. And unless we start to address it, we stay trapped by it.
It's not a fun thing to stay trapped by either,
No, it's not.
It's not but you said something that's really key, and I want to hone in on this a little bit. People define their worth in life or their impact. I heard a very well-known influencer. I actually have a post up about this, and I won't go into that, but you can go look at my LinkedIn and see this post. It was back in December. But the person said this, and I'd love for your comment on this. And I want to see some people in the chat that are on live with us to interact with what I'm about to say, because this hit me. I've been through a bankruptcy in life, okay? and I saw my bank account go the wrong way a lot. Okay. And I know you've seen people do this, Gary, but this person put this post up, and this is a very well known person that said, if your bank account is at X, that's your worth to this world. Don't get angry, fix it. That triggered me so deeply because when I went through that season of life, that would have caused me to jump off a bridge. Let's just be real. And that's what, in this day and age, this is what happens with people, right?
No.
So I'd love to hear somebody that's pretty well known puts that out in public, and this person has a very, very large audience. What does that do to a guy like you who's working on the subconscious in people? And some of you listening, feel to drop into that. Do you really feel that's a true statement? Because I know people in this world who make a massive, massive impact. And I don't have a big bank account, but you say their name. Oh my gosh, that's what this person does. So I'd like to hone in on that before I get into a couple other questions with you.
I personally think money's just an energy.
Yeah.
It does not define our worth in any way, shape, or form. We do. And I think it's really by the contributions we're making to other people. It's by the heart we live from. And in my opinion, it's by the kindness that we exhibit out in the world. We could be very poor and be very awake and extremely happy and ultimately worthy, feeling like we're on purpose. Money doesn't give us purpose. What it does is it magnifies what's already inside of us.
Yeah.
So if we're a full-blown narcissist, it's going to magnify that. If we're a full-blown philanthropist, it's going to magnify that. It magnifies. The bottom line is, in my travels and my work that I've done, if I'm not on purpose, regardless of how much money I make, if I'm not making that contribution that I feel like I'm here to make,
Yeah.
then I feel poor and I feel off kilter and I feel out of balance. Many really extremely wealthy people that I have worked with have been loaded with fear. And, I would say to them, wealth with fear is another form of poverty.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is there's many aspects of our lives that we can be extremely wealthy in, and we can be wealthy in our relationships and wealthy in our own self-esteem and be not necessarily wealthy in our finances. So no, I don't believe that that's a true statement. I believe that our worth is based upon the alignment to our purpose, to our word, to what we're actualizing in the world, how much we contribute. And I mean contribute to others. Money is a byproduct of all that, of being in alignment.
Yes. It's so funny. So funny you use the word alignment, Gary. That's my word of the year. And I don't think you knew that. But we got some comments coming in. So let's go like this. I want, because when people are interacting with us, that's more important than going on some questions I want to ask you. But Leslie says, yeah, our worth is measured by how we help and support others. Yeah, that's exactly what Gary just said. And then let's go like here. Ano, are worth the same asleep as when are you worth the same asleep as when are awake? Or is it all about what we were doing? Oh, that's a good question. You want to answer that one?
That's a great question. Yeah. I'll tackle that one.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it up so people can see that question.
I'm not a religious guy, but I'm a highly spiritual guy. And I believe that our worth is intrinsically the same across the boards. I think we're all priceless, to tell you the truth. I really think that we could not, all the wealth of every planet that exists in the universe, put in one place, couldn't buy you one human breath. So we are equally worthy across the boards. Does not define us. What our mind does, what our actions do, how we either stay aligned to that worth and exhibit our purpose out into the world, that makes us brighter. We just shine brighter. Yeah. If we do dark deeds, that doesn't necessarily diminish our intrinsic worth. It puts a very dark wrapping around the light that we are. And so that light shines less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The light is there, and the light is intrinsically worthy no matter what.
Yeah. Let's say we got another comment here from Susan. No, money is the number one aspect. No money is the number one aspect of life, and in no way does money define us completely. Each hold, yeah. So yeah, definitely, love it. Everybody's on the same page. So let's get into this. What starts to really inherit? How do we inherit these limited beliefs around money? I've seen so many people, like, they hear things. Oh, we can't do this. We can't do that. This can never happen. Where does those limited beliefs start?
They are an ancestral echo.
Okay.
And it comes down the generations. it's been proven that about 90% of all trauma is handed down transgenerationally. If one generation has struggled profoundly with money, what will happen is, and well, not just money, but with trauma around money, what will happen is that the next generation will be that much more predisposed to go into fight, flight, or freeze around the topic of money.
Mhm.
Because we're a quantum sensing device between birth and 7. We are taking in volumes of data. We have more neurological connections firing off at that time than any other point of our life. So we are modeling our parents to learn how to survive. They've proven that even the facial expressions on a mother to a pre-verbal baby will cause a baby to have PTSD.
Wow.
So we are sensing everything. We're hearing the vibratory resonance of language. We may not understand the language, but we understand the emotions behind the language. So we will hear our parents fight. We'll hear our parents say words like, we're gonna starve to death, or we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna survive this. And they'll become arguments. In our brains, in our minds as children, we'll look at that and we'll go, oh, so then this topic, whatever this topic is called money, causes separation from my foundational survival couple. These are the ones that are going to make me survive and care for me. It's causing a separation between those two. So what happens inside the mind, because we're meaning-making creatures, we're going to create constellations of beliefs around the stress factors that we experience around money. We're also at the effect of our parents being imprinted by their parents. My father's parents were fruit pickers in the San Fernando Valley. They lived in shacks. My mother was dirt poor, passed from relative to relative because her mother was a morphine addict. So no one had money in my lineage. Everyone was dirt poor. So the environment around money in my household was we were the poorest house on the block.
Wow.
I have an Hispanic last name. So then there was the race factor. We lived in an all-white school district and in a very prejudiced neighborhood. So all of that compounding, like, gave me the experience of not enough, not going to make it. I'm different than other people, and I deserve this.
Yep.
So those are just some of them. Like, money wasn't safe. People with money were cruel or mean or vicious. And so all these beliefs began to form at a very young age. Now, as adults, as we grow older, those beliefs are so unconscious, we don't even know they're happening.
Yeah.
What we do know is that we won't put out that extra effort to go for that extra high-paying job or that extra contract. We won't allow ourselves to actually really take that motivation that we need, of course, to be successful and be relentless to do it. We won't necessarily put out that extra effort because we'll have resistance somatically in our bodies. Sometimes when I ask clients, well, I want you to think about being really, really wealthy and tell me what that feels like. And they go, well, my body tightens up.
Mm.
I'm like, of course it does, because there's all these inherited belief systems and impressions and constellations of belief that says money's not safe. Our brains are hardwired for protection.
Yeah.
And we're not having necessarily a mindset issue. We're not having necessarily anything other than a neural response that is an emotional response that is avoidant to actually putting out the effort and taking the risks to make those investments, or to take that extra training, or to do that extra job that maybe you're not quite qualified for, but you know you can do it.
Yep.
And will you allow yourself to raise above the norm of your comfortability? Will you stretch? And oftentimes people will not, because they not only do they feel tense, they feel anxiety.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues. See, unless we start looking at, we have to think about it. A subconscious mind is 95% of who we are. Conscious mind is 5%. So if the subconscious mind is 95% of us, and we're not working there, we're not interested necessarily in going there, then how the heck are we going to make tremendous progress and overcome these barriers? In my belief system, we stand on the shoulders of all the ancestors that went before us, meaning that all the suffering, all the pain, all the success, all the love, all the hatred, all the anger, we're standing on the triumphs and tragedies of everyone that went before us. The baton's in our hand.
Mhm.
And are we going to be the one that simply unconsciously models everything that went before us without challenging it? Are we going to be the one, like a lemming jumping off the cliff? Are we going to follow the imprints of our ancestry? Or are we going to be the one that stands up and says, I'm going to do it differently? When I was studying in India, I had the great good fortune of studying with a living master in the Punjab. And I remember him saying to us, when a soul reaches enlightenment, he brings 25 generations with him.
Oof, wow.
So when I heard that, I thought, if I love my family, then why not me be the one that shifts, changes, and moves forward and does what no one else in my lineage has been able to do?
What for that person, because I believe there's some of those people that are going to hear this LinkedIn Live. That person that makes that decision, what is it they go through? Like how do they break free from it? Let's talk about that. Let's just have a little conversation around that. If I'm that person that says I'm the one that's going to do this, I'm this person. What's that person got to do to get to that next level?
They have to unravel the false narratives that they've inherited. And we have to remember this one thing. If I was to ask you, Chris, how do you know that you're you? What would you say to me?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, I'd probably talk about my history, my parents, and where I came from, and things like that that defined me growing up.
Exactly. And all of that, especially if your parents are no longer alive, but when you're old and you have
Yep.
some marbles on you, the only way you know any of that is by the pictures, sounds, and feelings that constitute your memories, correct?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the only way, right? And those memories, those pictures, sounds, and feelings, once we contemplate them, we have our nervous system fires off and we have emotional states.
Yeah. Oof, the
We can
nervous
sit and
system.
remember all the great things in our life. We'll have peak emotional states, or all the difficult things and the harmful things that happen to us, and we'll have lower emotional states.
Yep.
It's all based upon the movies we're watching in our heads. That's how we know who we are. So the bottom line is, if these memories are loaded with unresolved negative emotions, with constellations of limiting beliefs around them, what do you think our emotional states are going to be?
Tanked.
Exactly.
And we're going to give off that kind of energy also at the same time.
And all action, all behaviors are emotionally driven. So the one thing that people say is, shift your mindset, yay, let's
Yeah,
shift
yeah.
our mindset.
Good luck with
Let's
that. That's
dance.
going to do it all. Solved
Shift
it.
your mindset. Okay. So that never works.
Yeah, I know.
Never works. We're dealing with neural responses from our nervous system and our brain being hardwired for protection and having triggers that trigger off the nervous system.
Mhm.
Suddenly we're in fight, flight, or freeze, or some form of anxiety or contraction, and we can't move forward. And the reason for that is because we have a constellation of past events emotionally compacted with limiting emotions and limiting beliefs. Those are our references. And until those become calm and neutral, then and only then do they not act as a trigger for us in the here and now. So, in other words, we have to bring peace to our past. In neuroscience, they say the only way to start neutralizing the emotions around our past is to reconsolidate the memories.
Mm.
So, in the 5-day challenge, I'm going to be working strictly on how do we move past. We identify what the problems are. We identify where our money imago comes from. Super important, because the first step in any transformation is awareness. So we first have to identify that. And then there's processes that we have to begin to start to do that actually works with the subconscious mind. Now, some of the prime directives of the subconscious mind is that it takes our language literally and personally. That's number one.
Hmm.
Number two is that it responds to symbols and metaphors. Number three is that it rises unresolved emotional states to the surface for integration. So the whole premise of the subconscious is, and there's many more, there's many more prime directives, but those are just a few of them. We have to reconsolidate those memories and shift the limiting beliefs. And if we're working with more neuroscience-based processes, we can do that. This is why it becomes super important. When we identify the memories, we can then begin to start re-imprinting the memories, scrambling up how that event originally entered the nervous system. When we get done with those simple processes, you cannot get the memory back with the same emotional punch ever again. And when the emotions go neutral, the beliefs that were generated by those memories start to diminish as well. And then we use a process called submodalities, which is language of the brain.
Okay.
And all of those processes limit the impact of those particular events, therefore lessen the triggers.
So yeah, you mentioned you're going to do a challenge shortly in the week
Yep.
of February 9th. So it's a few weeks away. We're giving people some announcement. I know you got people already registered. I have it on the side here right next to Gary. You can see it. If you want to join us, scan that code. It's a 5-day challenge, but let's talk about what you're going to do in this challenge. Because if this topic is like really resonating with you, to get Gary for $97 for a week is a complete joke. I'm just going to say that, but he wants to give back to people who face this barrier. So let's talk about what you're going to do over these 5 days a little bit, Gary.
So the first day, we're going to really go into how to consciously recognize what the money imago is. And it's we set up the whole frame of how the subconscious mind works, because if it's 95% of us and you don't understand how to operate it, then you're at a disadvantage. So that's the first day. The second day is really diving into our parental patterns, getting more information and putting more meat on the bones of what the money imago is and how it's impacted us. And there's a few different exercises that we do to uncover that and begin to start dismantling what those imprints are. The third day is really going into where those core significant memories around money existed, and then how to begin to start neutralizing those, reconsolidating those memories, and working with the limiting beliefs to neutralize them. The fourth day is really building more of an identity around having money as your partner rather than your adversary or something that you're constantly chasing.
Ooh.
I like to frame it as like money as my lover, the thing that loves me, that I can utilize and have it be my friend.
Yeah.
And then, as well as looking at how do we condition new beliefs into ourselves so that we have more of a magnetation to prosperity, taking off the lid off of some of the things that we have been imprinted by. When I was thinking about doing this, I kept thinking, yeah, I mean, in my own life, I thought my father always told me, son, always plant fruit trees wherever you live, because then you'll never starve. Presupposing, of course,
Yeah.
any moment I could starve, right?
Yep. Yep.
The next one was I could only use 2 sheets of toilet paper, because other than that, I was wasteful. And
Wow.
so these very directive things that were basic body functions, I was like, everything is scarce. Everything is scarce. And so we grow up with those things. It's so important we overcome all those and bring them to light, and then begin to start neutralizing some of those memories. And it makes it super impactful. And then to be able to learn how to program the subconscious mind for success and
Yep.
for wealth creation. So that's what's going to be happening in the fifth day, is that whole programming capability. So it's this whole process of actually learning how to work with that other 95% of you, and then how to undo the money imago that we have inherited.
So it's going to be a fun 5-day challenge.
It's
It's
going to
gonna,
be super fun. I'm really looking forward to doing it, to tell you the truth.
and it's good. You're going to have people in your environment where you can really interact with them. So I see a few of you have scanned the code. Any questions, anything else, any more clarification on, just shoot Gary or I a DM. But it's the week of the 9th. What time is it again? I forget. It's in my evening, right?
It's going to be 6:30 Central Time.
Central time. So it's end of day, so more people can attend because Gary really wants to make an impact and change this. Gary, like this topic resonates so much. I can't tell you how many people like even what people feel they're worth. I work with a lot of consultants, coaches, and things. And when they come to me and I see what they do for people or companies, and so many people have this moment of, yeah, I'd love to charge X for this, but I'm charging Y because and like that right there is a money barrier right there when somebody says
That's a
that.
money barrier. I will guarantee you, because I work with a lot of coaches as well. And it's always the thought that if they raise their prices, they'll lose clients.
Right.
That's always the fear.
It is. It is. Yeah.
They're going to lose clients rather than they're going to increase their effectiveness and they're going to give more and therefore create faster breakthroughs.
Yep.
And then they'll get a higher level of clients that will be able to afford them. And once you start working with those type of clients, generally their network is the same and they
Yep.
refer.
Yep. Bingo.
Like I'm seeing 20 to 30 clients, coaching clients a week, and all of them are referrals. I do not advertise my coaching at all.
Yeah. I
It's
know.
all referral based.
I know. That's why you doing this 5-day challenge is like, this is a gift for anybody who comes into this thing.
It's super important because there's this one quote from Carl Jung that I absolutely love. It says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate.
Mm.
And that is the gospel truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not our fate. Our fate is to do what no one else in our ancestry could do. Our fate is to question and to move forward in a way that's far more dynamic than anyone in our lineage has ever done. And if you're a parent, your child is modeling you and watching you to see what you do, what you can do, and the lid that you place on them by your behavior, by the words you say, and the beliefs that come out of your mouth. Your child is looking at you going, oh, wow, I guess that's what's possible for me.
Yeah.
We have to do it. We have to do it better. I mean, what if you could learn how to work with the other 95% of your potential? What would be the possibilities?
That's pure fire right there, man.
Well, it's true.
But you said something, Gary. And I've dealt with this as in my business too, when it comes to the whole pricing game. But like yesterday, I had a person come to me and I point blank priced it all the way. I was like, you know what? I know what I can deliver this person. I know exactly where I can get them. This is going to do this for them. And I put the offer right in front of him. The guy said where I put my credit card in, and it was a 5-figure deal. Okay, it wasn't no small deal. He's like, and he paid me right on the spot, and I was with him for 20 minutes. And I asked him, I was like, you made a really quick decision. Why? He said 2 things, Chris. 1, I've watched you for a little bit, so I know you can deliver. 2, you hit my pain point so hard. I need to solve this pain point right now. And I'm willing to do the work and implement a system like that to do it because I can't do it how I've been doing it. I need to break free from that because it's stalling me. That's a guy that has a mindset that's going to go places fast because he's a different mindset. Versus I know other people I've met with, if I put that in front of them, they would just, oh my gosh, no way, no way. So it's just amazing on the differences when you look, but this is what this could create. They don't look at that. They look at, oh my gosh, this is what it's going to do to me right now. It's crazy, man. So you got to help a lot of people, Gary.
This is because the brain's wired for protection, buddy.
Yeah.
All the person is attempting to do is protect themselves from failure. But if we don't lift the ceiling on what we think is possible for us, then we'll never evolve past the point we're at right now.
Yeah.
I mean, money is an energy, like energies attract. If we're in a poverty mindset, which I can say, oh, I'm never in a poverty mindset. No, I can say there's times I'll go into it.
Yeah.
The bottom line is,
we all do.
When I lift myself up out of that, I get multiple opportunities. But until we do that, until we really work on, because I work on memories all the time. I uncover stuff that are patterns. And I mean, I think I started 2023. with 64 events that I wanted to feel emotionally neutral about.
Okay.
And it took me about a month and a half to 2 months. I'd do like 3 memories a day, and I would get them completely resolved. So the peace I had, the freedom that happened for me
Yeah.
just lifted like this. And I'm like, damn, this works.
Yeah. Wow. Light bulb. This stuff.
Yeah, it's like it works. So I am so inspired to give this out to people. I have been working on this for years. This very specific approach to coaching is, how do we help people unravel the history they've inherited? How do we help them break free? Not like another mindset hack.
Yeah.
Break
Or
free.
affirmations and all that mumbo jumbo, right?
So the reptilian brain is not clicking on like fight, flight, or fight, flight, or freeze, and having us be hyper vigilant around money, which causes, of course, the exact opposite, which is contract, hold on to, and let it just sit with you.
Yeah. It's all energy, man. It is all energy. So here it is. You got 3 weeks notice, or is it 4 weeks? We give this a good notice, right? We decided to do this live a little bit early because it's such an important topic. And when I met Gary, he attended one of my events and ended up becoming a client. But I was just like, Gary, your work is so needed. It's so powerful. Like we got to launch this thing correctly. So I know you already have people who signed up the other day. You did a master class. We got a nice little.
I got to compliment you, Chris. I followed a system that we had talked about.
Okay.
And I had done master classes for all of 2025, well, maybe 3 or 4 enrollments. I couldn't convert.
Yep.
We got 50% of the people who showed up sign up.
Oh, and they paid. It wasn't even free.
And they paid. So I just wanted to thank you for that. That was awesome, because the bottom line is, and to everyone on the call, you can have an amazing message. You can have this awesome product. You could be the best of the best, but if you can't get it shaped in a way, or formed in a way, or delivered in a way that's actually going to convert, then there's a part of your influencing strategy that's not working. It's not your worth. It's not your product. It's your influencing strategy.
Yeah.
So you were masterful at that, and I wanted to compliment you and thank you.
I appreciate that, Gary. It was one of my promises. Remember, I said, "Hey, we'll work through this." And here's the thing from my side of things, because you coach people, I coach people. You took the action, you took the steps, you implemented what I shared, and it worked. Go figure. Yeah. That makes me feel good though to hear that. So I really appreciate that, because I love when clients like you have that success and they come out of an event like, Chris, I'm about to impact 10 lives because of you. And some people like 10 lives, that's it. It's like 10 lives. You know where that goes next? 20 lives, 30 lives. I've had clients who they do a 5-day challenge with 15 people, and all of a sudden those 15 people turn into 250 people and then 300 people. And I know that's the path you're on. And I can't wait to see where this goes. I'm so grateful we got this thing. You guys don't even understand. Gary and I were trying to get technology to work here. We had all sorts of issues at the start of this call. So I'm grateful we got to have this. But seriously, take the time to join Gary's challenge. Listen, this is resonating with you. Click that. Just put the scanner right up on join the Breaking the Invisible. It'll bring it right up on your calendar. Right up on your browser, and you can register there. Shoot either one of us a DM. Gary, I'm going to let you close this out, and then stay with me when you're done. So I'm going to highlight you high, and then I'll come back and I'll close this out, but don't disconnect when you're done. So close us out here, buddy.
Okay. So the bottom line is that our relationship with money shows us what we can create with money. For me, poverty does not heal poverty. Wealth heals poverty. My entire purpose and direction in life right now is to empower as many people as I possibly can, to have them actualize what their soul came here to do. And part of that is always in the assistance of other people. And when I know that I have cash flow coming in, and I have then cash flow going out, and I'm helping more people. I've got people in my community that I help constantly. It's because I can. And to have our lives be on purpose, live in abundance, and be able to help others, there is not a better way to live your life than that. To live without fear means that the love inside each one of us can come to the surface. Each one of us is a bit like a glass of milk. There's cream inherent in milk, but it's only found and only realized when the milk becomes still. So when the milk becomes still, the cream, the richness inherent in it naturally rises to the surface. Human beings are exactly the same way. The love we are can come to the surface when our fear is stilled, and much of it is inherited. So find the methodologies to actually still the fear and let the love that you come here to be rise to the surface. And money's just one expression of it. And come join me because it's going to be awesome.
Gary, this was a joy, man. This is a joy. So we thank each and every one of you for joining live. We'll see quite a few of you in the challenge in a few weeks. Any questions? Message either one of us. We don't bite. You can find us in our DMs pretty easily. Gary, stay with me. But thank you all for joining today. We truly, truly appreciate it. And spread the word. If this is resonating with you, have them come watch this live. Let them get an experience with Gary, and then let them get in the challenge. Because guys, we do this right. So many lives can be impacted. So many lives. And that's really what this is about. How many lives can Gary impact that can go impact more after that and create a ripple effect? Gary has a movement here that he's got, and we're going to build this thing with the right people who really care about helping people and really love people. So Gary, stay with me. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to disconnect.
Thank you, gang.